हाय हॅलो वेलकम टू दिस डिवायन एपिसोड ऑफ कॅज्युअली योर्स. हांवें डिवायन ह्याच खातीर म्हळें की आजचो जो आमचो गेस्ट जो आसा, आमचे जे गेस्ट जे आहा ही इज इन टू सच अ फील्ड वेरीन लायक तुमकां तांच्या वांगडा आसप म्हणजे एक वेगळेच म्हणजे डिवायन फिलींग किंवा तुमी एक वेगळ्याच वर्ल्डान पावतले. प्लीज वेलकम हीज होलिनेस जे इस्कॉन आमी इंटरनॅशनल सोसायटी फॉर क्रिस्टना कॉन्शियसनेस म्हणटा ताजे गोंय फाट्याक जे पळयता मॅनेज करतात. हिज होलिनेस प्रभुजी अच्युत गोपाल दास.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Very happy to be here.
थैंक यू सो मच प्रभुजी. प्रभुजी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई एम ऑनर्ड टू बी इंटरव्यूइंग यू एंड डोंट टेक इट एज अ इंटरव्यू. एक्चुअली इसका जो फॉर्मेट है ना, द फॉर्मेट ऑफ दिस जो सीरीज़ है इज़ लाइक सो कैजुअल दैट आई मे आस्क यू एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग. सो आपने तो मतलब आई डोंट थिंक यू हैव सीन एनी एपिसोड ऑफ माइन.
No.
Okay. Normally, what I ask, the first question what I ask is like, if you were not what you are today, what you would be. But before that, please, I mean, introduce yourself.
Yeah. So, my name is Achyut Gopal Das. I'm a member of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and I'm a full-time member. It's also called Monkhood Life, where I devote all my energy in the service of Lord Krishna. Bhakti can be practiced even in married life, but once you are married, the amount of time you have for engaging in service of Lord Krishna and for humanity becomes very less.
इसके बारे में क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा ही मैं definitely.
So that's why I chose this life. Just like you have soldiers who sacrifice their family and fight, so similarly you need someone who can actually protect the culture of our great land of India. So that spirit drove me to this area of being a monk.
I'll ask you the question later, but एक बात बताइए, when you say protecting the culture,
Yeah.
is it only about culture? मतलब nowadays it's a conception that मतलब culture and dharma, there's a conflict always. When we say we are protecting our culture, some people are like offended, like saying no, it's about dharma. इसके बारे में पहले बताइए.
So according to the understanding of Gita and all the Vedic scriptures, dharma and culture are very much connected. There can't be any culture without dharma and without God in the picture, right? So culture means there has to be God in the picture. Only then the culture is sustainable. Otherwise, you may have people who are good, kind, but such kind of qualities don't remain in the long run. So the principles of Gita, Bhagavad and all the Vedic scriptures is, until you have God in the forefront, only then someone can be really cultured. So yesterday only someone was interviewing me. So I was telling them it's a modern fad these days, and people find it very cool to say that I'm spiritual but not religious. But I don't think so that understanding is correct. If someone is spiritual, he is definitely religious, and if someone is religious, he is definitely spiritual, right? So having God in the center is something that's very important for culture being intact.
Now this becomes, and this gets up with another conflict. When we are talking about yoga के बारे में बोलते हैं लोग, some people object it just because it is connected to Hinduism or something like that. So आप यहाँ कैसे defend करेंगे?
Yeah, so that's why the word, one has to understand these concepts properly. The word yoga comes from the root word called yuj. Yuj means to connect, to establish that connection. So as living entities, as Atma, we have a connection with God. So the process through which we establish that connection is called yoga. So, and this is called dharma basically. So it's not like there is a Christian dharma and a Hindu dharma. All souls have one dharma, and that is to connect with God. When Srila Prabhupada, the founder archer of ISKCON, when he went to London, when he went to the West to preach, so some of the reporters asked Prabhupada, have you come here to convert Christians to Hindus? It's a loaded question.
Okay.
So Prabhupada gave a brilliant answer. Prabhupada said, I have come here to make Christians into better Christians. Because the essence of Christianity or the essence of any religion is to love God. So many times, people say I'm a Christian, I'm a Hindu, I'm so and so, but they are all caught up in externals. People miss that essence. So whichever religion helps you connect to that essence, makes you a lover of God, that's perfect religion, and that is yoga. Whatever name you may give it, that's really material.
So let's come to my question now, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, my first question would always be, अगर आप आज जो हैं स्पिरिचुअल लीडर या फिर प्रीचर या फिर आप ऑथर भी हो, यू रिटन बुक्स, यू लाइक यू रिलीजियस लीडर भी कहते हैं कुछ लोग. सो इफ़ यू वर नॉट व्हाट यू आर टुडे, आपको मतलब दूसरा ऑप्शन क्या था या फिर क्या बनते थे आप?
Yeah.
मतलब,
So
it
probably
won't be fair to say बनते थे, but yes,
yeah.
professionally.
Yeah. So probably I would be a software engineer working somewhere in US.
हाँ.
Actually, in fact, when I finished my engineering college towards the last year,
you are an engineer.
I'm an engineer. Towards
Surprising. That's surprising.
yeah,
Okay.
towards the last year of my engineering, you get this campus interviews. I was placed in Infosys, and that's where everyone generally gets into. So I would have definitely be in some software company earning some handsome money, probably in US, something like that.
एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन जो हर इंजीनियर के दिमाग में होगा. सो आई जस्ट वांट टू नो, ये इंजीनियर दे start with engineering and like end up with something else. Is it true?
Very true. The reason is because somehow the education system in India is not proper. Every parent invariably feels that the child should become either engineer or a doctor.
मतलब professional.
Professional. They don't have any other options.
Okay.
In the West, even if you become a carpenter, it's considered great. I mean, why do you have to always become an engineer or doctor? Money can be earned through n number of ways.
Correct.
So that's why when you have everyone competing for engineering and becoming a doctor, you have so many engineers without jobs.
True.
That's the reality of this place. In fact, after my 12th, I actually didn't want to get into engineering.
Okay.
I had sufficient marks. I would have got into the best of colleges. So, but I didn't want because I wanted to try something different. So I had gone to Bombay and tried to search some options, but I couldn't find anything better. So ultimately, I landed up becoming an engineer.
That's what I'm saying. मतलब इतना qualification, this amount of money, मतलब I'll just be casual now. फिर then you come to this like being a monk. Well, it's so easy. Decision लेना.
Yeah, it was not easy and it was not difficult also. The reason is because when I was, I came into Krishna consciousness, or I became like a devotee when I was in my school days only. I started to chant when I was 7th standard, 8th standard. But when I was in my 11th, that is the point that I really took it up a little more seriously.
मतलब ये अचानक से नहीं हुआ?
अचानक से नहीं हुआ. Yeah, it has been gradual.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely the decision of entering into monkhood should never be immediate and an emotional thing. It's not lasting.
Sudden decision नहीं लेना चाहिए.
It's an organic thing that gets gradually evolved in course of time. So when I was in my 11th, I was already practicing Krishna consciousness, chanting 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra, and I did very well in my 12th. I was one of the toppers in Goa also. Then I did my engineering in my college.
No, but
in school also, definitely.
School,
yeah.
Your school is?
I studied from 1st to 5th in Sharda Mandir, and then 6th to 10th in Don Bosco.
Okay. Okay.
So being in Don Bosco, I was exposed to a completely different world.
Correct.
So those of you all know what is Don Bosco.
Yeah.
You'll understand from what I've come from. So I'm happy for that because I had like all crazy friends in Bosco. My entire day would go in just playing football, with all of them. But I balanced out my studies also. I would do well I would play also, and I would study well also.
Are you connected to those friends now?
To some. Frankly, honestly speaking, not many. Not many. Because, once I became a little more serious in my Krishna consciousness, and when I saw that the interests were not matching, then I had to make a choice that,
But like during that course of time, जो होता है ना टांग खींची होती है ना?
हाँ, बहुत
होता था.
Definitely, a lot.
So how would you cope up with those things?
Yeah. So that's what, to gain something in life na, especially when you try something new, you have to go through that. Just like you gave the example of an engineer,
Yeah.
there are many people who do engineering, but then they choose to they decide to change their line.
Correct.
At that time also people taunt, Arey, you have a well settled job, this, that.
Correct.
But that's why life is, you can't live your life based on others.
But प्रभु जी ये आपके बारे में जो है ना, you can't match that to this, because changing your profession
Yeah.
and changing
Changing your lifestyle.
life, yeah, that is totally a world of
Definitely,
difference.
definitely.
Yeah.
So in life, the principle is, whether it is life or material gain or spiritual gain, the principle is no risk, no gain. You have to be ready to take risk. And the worst thing, what will be the worst thing? That you will realize that it's a wrong choice. Then you just go back. There's nothing wrong that. But if you don't take that risk, you will live your life with regrets. I didn't try it. So that's the reason I.
So do you have
I tried
any
it.
regrets in life? मतलब आपका कोई regret है life में? मतलब now अभी?
Actually, no.
Seriously, no.
No.
कुछ भी नहीं.
नहीं.
Because it's a world of difference.
Definitely, it's a world of difference.
Your friends, they are doing good, maybe.
Definitely. But probably in the initial years, I used to see what happens when you take the spiritual life. You have the mind getting torn. So this is an experience that everyone goes through, especially a monk, because sometimes you think whether was it the right decision, should I go back. But as you spend years, and especially when you keep preaching and when you keep meeting people, you realize that Baba, the decision you made was good. Because the world which seems very rosy is not that rosy. They have their own, they may be earning money, but they have their own struggles with so many things.
Very correct.
And more than that, when I feel that when my contribution makes a difference in the lives of others, in some way, small, big, whatever, I can help the lives of others. The satisfaction that I find in that, I definitely will not find that satisfaction in earning a lot of money. So this is like something that you can't experience through money.
Prabhuji, around 35 years in Goa.
Yeah.
If you are born in Goa?
No, born in Tamil Nadu, Kanchipuram.
Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
And then at what age you are here?
As far as my memory goes, from my upper KG, I am in Goa.
Oh, yeah. Almost in Goa.
Almost in Goa. Yeah.
Almost in Goa.
Yeah.
तो कोंकणी तो आती होगी आपको?
Konkani, unfortunately, I can understand fully.
Unfortunately.
Fortunately, unfortunately, whatever it is.
Okay.
But I can start the conversation in Konkani, but invariably it
will end up somewhere else.
Yeah, it will end in Hindi or English.
Okay.
But I thoroughly understand Konkani. It's quite simple language that way. But somehow I never got into habit of speaking it. Even in my Don Bosco days, we would just converse in English.
So, Prabhuji, देखिए youth, you are still young. तो obviously एक question आ जाता है कि why did you think of doing this? Settle होना नहीं, मतलब कभी आया नहीं दिमाग में?
Why? That's what I'm telling you. These thoughts do come once a while.
Still come?
Yeah, sometimes.
Acha, okay.
But that's what, when you understand what kind of contribution you are making, because as long as you have a mind, a material mind, see, for
you
us,
can't skip those things.
Yeah, you can't skip those things. You can't skip those things,
Okay.
But it's not a constant thought. These thoughts just keep coming once a while. But then you understand that when you actually see things beyond those spur of moments, then you realize that
Correct.
you are much more happier where you are.
Okay. Every parent has, मतलब अपने बच्चों के बारे में कुछ सोचते हैं. Obviously, आपको इतना पढ़ाया लिखाया, पैसा खर्च किया, और you are ending up with this. हमारे आगे जनरेशन में क्या है होता होगा.
Yeah.
So how are your parents?
Again, my parents that way are already into Krishna consciousness.
Uh-huh.
So when I decided to be a monk, my father had no issue. My father was quite happy about it. My mother definitely, she had issue because attachment that the son is going away.
Correct.
Probably she didn't think about paisa kharch ho raha hai, all that she didn't think.
Yeah.
Just that emotional attachment. But then in due course of time, they have realized that I'm actually not away. I'm very much connected to them.
Now you're more connected.
Yeah,
to
I'm
them,
more
so-
connected to them.
Yeah.
So they don't miss me also that much, because again, you know, it's just the illusion that those who take the monkhood life, they stay away from parents. I know so many people, practically everyone who gets married, invariably stays away from parents.
Okay.
It's just the reality check,
No, मतलब
basically.
actually हाँ मतलब even these are some things which socially like are important, very important.
Yeah, yeah.
Being in a family, all those things.
Definitely. So that way I'm connected. So from parents' side, I didn't have much issue. You know, it was quite easy that they accepted it. But definitely many monks go through issues, especially when their parents are not devotees. When the parents don't understand what the child is doing, then
They have the issue.
yeah. But in due course of time, when they see the child actually contributing and, you know, growing in spiritual life, then they realize. So this is a phase that every monk has to go through.
ऐसे कभी नहीं हुआ कि मतलब आपके जो कोई रिलेटिव एज एन पेरेंट्स दे मस्ट हैव कम अप विद अ प्रपोजल, चलो अभी बच्चे को शादी कर लो, बड़े हो गए मतलब
नहीं, at least not from my parents.
मतलब नहीं एज एन पेरेंट्स चाचा
Yeah,
या
yeah,
मामा
yeah.
ऐसा कुछ
वो तो होता है. Yeah.
होता है अभी तक होता है।
नहीं, अभी नहीं होता.
उन लोगों ने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया नहीं।
अभी नहीं होता.
तो मुझे you sing, I mean I know you sing very well.
Not very well, decently well.
Decently well, okay. लेकिन प्रभु जी else than chanting, मतलब आपने तो मूवीज वगैरह देखे होंगे ना पहले, मतलब व्हेन यू आर ऐसा कोई मूवी जो आपको पसंद आया हो जिसमें का सॉन्ग आप जब गुनगुना सकते हो ऐसा कुछ, और इट विल बी लाइक forbidden question?
नहीं.
That's okay.
See, I have the last time I have seen a movie, it's been more than 22 years ago.
22 years
Yeah. So I don't have any
memory,
prominent memory of like a
Watching a
very
movie.
favorite movie. Yeah, definitely.
लेकिन
And
फिर भी
even
songs,
even in terms of songs, na, even when I used to watch movies, I'm not like a guy who learns songs and repeats. Probably because I am from a South Indian family, I never connected to learning the Bollywood songs and singing it.
वैसे
So I don't have any of the.
साउथ इंडिया जब बोलते हैं ना हम लोग, मतलब देयर इज अनदर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट दिस डेज, देयर इज अ लैंग्वेज इशू गोइंग ऑन नॉर्थ इंडिया एंड साउथ इंडिया। तो बीइंग फ्रॉम तमिलनाडु एंड अडॉप्टिंग हिंदी सो फ्लुएंटली, मतलब सो इजीली, एज देन कोंकणी विच इज मोर इजियर देन हिंदी,
Yeah.
मतलब कैसे हो गया ये?
Just see, most of the things in my life na, I give credit to being in ISKCON and being connected to Srila Prabhupada. There is a verse in the scriptures which says, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripaha tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. So the meaning of this verse is, when
young, huh?
yeah. So the meaning of this verse is that when someone surrenders to a spiritual life, surrenders to a guru, there is empowerment that happens. And personally in my life, many things that I'm able to do now is something that I have never imagined doing. I'm actually a little introvert person. I've never imagined giving public classes.
Okay.
Never. So that has happened now.
No,
Like,
not even in the schools and all you.
I used to do, but not so much. I'm a little shy kind of person. But now, being in this role, you have to be in the public basically.
Very
So, that has happened. My Hindi speaking is definitely, credit goes to ISKCON and all the classes that I give. Initially, the Hindi was not good. Gradually, anything in life you practice, you become good at it. It's like that. Even my writing of books, I'm not a good writer, but somehow Krishna gives those inspirations. There's so many things in life that has come to me just by being in this spiritual path. So I personally feel that yes, definitely in my school, college, I've learned a lot. But what education that I have gone through, being in ISKCON and the experiences and the growth that I've had, I'll give a lot of credit to that. This is what the real education is about.
आज का जो पॉलिटिक्स चल रहा है, मतलब वट एवर इन गोवा और नेशनली, पॉलिटिक्स प्रीडोमिनेंटली प्लेज अ इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल इन टूडेज वर्ल्ड. तो आज जो चल रहा है, आई मीन, आर यू अवेयर ऑफ गोवन पॉलिटिक्स बाय एनी चांस? मतलब
Yeah.
आर यू कनेक्टेड?
Slightly, yeah.
ओके,
Have good idea.
उसके बारे में क्या कहना है आपका?
Yeah. So basically, for politics, initially in our Vedic times, the Kshatriyas, who were the politicians, the rulers, they were guided by Brahmanas,
हाँ हाँ.
and Brahmanas were guided by scriptures.
Hmm.
So that's the way a nation or a place is ruled. Basically. Because ultimately this world belongs to God, and there are certain laws that has to be followed, and it is the duty of the politicians or the leader, whoever is running the government, to maintain things in sync with that. So that's the way traditional functioning would happen.
Governance.
Governance, yeah. But in today's society, where, I mean, no one follows scriptures, no one has faith, whether someone is this party or that party, there's a lot of corruption and lot of so many things. Real politics actually enters, So yeah, so and as Kali Yuga progresses, this is what you can expect, right? What else you can expect? So that's why the solution is education, right? If someone has values, then you can have someone who is a good politician who makes right decisions. Yeah.
प्रभु जी ऐसे बोलते हैं कि, I mean, I don't know, it is a misconception perhaps. It is said that in Krishna consciousness, ISKCON, you are taught, I mean, you are told to believe only Krishna. बाकी के gods जो होते हैं, मतलब they talk about demigods, all those things. इसके बारे में क्या कहना है?
Yeah, because all this, I mean,
because I have come across many people saying like, नहीं वो लोग तो मतलब ऐसे ही, मतलब they are strict towards saying like only you have to follow Krishna, nothing else.
Yeah.
That concept.
Yeah. So the first thing is, it's not because ISKCON is worshipping Krishna because this is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It's not that way around. Because Krishna is God, this society is called International Society for Krishna Consciousness. When Srila Prabhupada went to America and he registered the society as ISKCON, some of the American people, the initial people who came to him, who were registering it, they told Srila Prabhupada, don't name it as ISKCON. You name it as International Society for God Consciousness. Don't use the word Krishna. Because if you use Krishna, you will narrow down. Your audience will go down, you will lose people. Prabhupada said, no. Krishna is God and God is Krishna, that's it. So this society will be called International Society for Krishna Consciousness only. And if you read scriptures, it's very clear, all the scriptures, whether it is Gita, Bhagavad, Vedic scriptures, they all specify that Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is that one God. And even all the demigods, whether it is Shiva, Brahma, all of them worship Krishna. So the problem is that, we don't have like a proper understanding of what is there in the scriptures. So again, it all boils down to the same thing, whether it is politics or whether it is religion, there is lot of lack of education. People, have a little idea and most of it is guesswork and their own conclusions and their own assumptions like that. So that's why, you need to be based on scriptures. So if someone says, no, Indra is God, so then you have to ask him, okay, show me verses which show that Indra is that Supreme Lord. Right? Where are verses like that? So you have to prove yourself with Vedic scriptures. So if you find the Vedic scriptures, you will find like n number of verses which shows that Krishna is that Supreme Lord. And when we say that we worship Krishna, it doesn't mean that we don't honor and respect the other demigods. It's never like that.
Yeah,
it's never like that.
Here.
It's not like that. Right? In fact, it's basically that you worship Krishna as God and you worship or honor all the demigods as devotees of Krishna. That's the perfect understanding. To equate everyone on the level of God is an offense.
Mhm.
You know, just like saying the police constable and the police commissioner are same. You respect the police constable for being whoever he is, but then you can't equate.
Hmm. Hmm.
This person is given a special respect, the other is also given a respect according to his level. So that's the whole idea.
Recently, we celebrated Gita Jayanti.
Yeah.
गीता जयंती. So कुछ गीता जयंती के बारे में.
Yeah. So Gita Jayanti is the day where Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So the Gita setting is a very relevant setting for all of us. Why did Krishna chose a battlefield? Krishna could have spoken Gita in an AC auditorium to Arjuna, right, in a very nice place. But Krishna chose this battlefield to tell all of us that Gita is something that is very important for us, right? So the conch shells on both the sides were already blown. So it was a very crucial time, and time was clicking, and Arjuna removed time to hear Gita. So similarly, in all of our lives, everyone has battles to go through. Either you have a physical battle, you have a mental battle, emotional battle. There are like constant battles here, and everyone is literally struggling, and everyone needs that upper edge. You know, everyone needs some grace from above. So when we read the pages of Gita very properly in the same mood that Arjuna read it, we will actually find answers to face these battles, right? So I always tell people that, you know, we have done so much education in our school, college, history, geography, maths, this, that, so many things. But when we go through a problem, which subject book you can open?
Correct.
You can't say I'm an expert maths guy, I'll crack a life problem. Those are two
Not
different
connected,
things.
Yeah.
They are completely different things. So when you come to a life problem, real life problem, you have to open the real life manual.
Mhm.
And Gita is like that manual that can actually bring solace to our heart, bring confidence. So the starting of the Gita, Arjuna completely gave up. Arjuna was such a powerful warrior who had willpower, who had everything, skill, everything. He just broke down, a complete state of depression. And in today's world, you know, everyone knows that the biggest problem is mental issues, depressions, people are confused, no proper goals. But after hearing Gita, Arjuna became so confident. He told Krishna, all my doubts are cleared, now I will do your will. So this kind of confidence comes by reading Gita. So
Prabhuji,
Gita Jayanti is a very important day so that we can meditate on this and take a vow to read Gita. Otherwise, most people in India, Gita is the greatest book on this from this land.
But-
no one has any idea of what is there in Gita.
Correct. Even I have come across some families like they have Gita, but it is like nicely wrapped in a
Yeah,
cloth and kept in front of the God. Look, under actually, basically, what I feel is like giving Gita is like actually telling them to read what it is, what is there in it.
exactly. Worship of Gita
Worship.
is not through agarbatti.
Correct.
Worship of Gita is to
Read it.
intelligence, reading it.
Prabhuji, morning when I had come here, I had promised you that I'd be reaching at this time. I'm sorry, I was around half an hour late. आपको गुस्सा नहीं आता?
So आता है कभी कभी.
आता है आपको गुस्सा?
Yeah, sometimes. So the point is, at least we are not yet in the stage of perfection.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone says that His Holiness or a saint, you know, so
Now,
I wouldn't.
Are you taunting me like as I started first?
So I'm not a saint definitely,
Okay.
but we are trying to become saintly. We are trying to get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you know, so when you follow a spiritual life and sometimes you give in to wrong emotions. So two things. First is you realize that you have a long way to go, and these episodes make you humble,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's also important, because when you become humble, then you can take shelter of God, then you progress. So we may have a long way to go to reach perfection. It really doesn't matter. What is important is, are you on the path of perfection? If you are, don't worry, keep walking. Like people who trek to Kedarnath, Badrinath, right? You may have like 20 kilometers to go, 15 kilometers to go, Doesn't matter. Your pace may be slow, someone may be fast. Really doesn't matter. Keep walking, be on the right track, you will reach the goal. So we are not in any kind of illusion that we have perfected, and we have controlled all anger,
I
lust,
wanted to
greed,
ask you the
this,
same
that.
thing. मतलब आपकी goal क्या है? What is your goal?
My goal in life is to be happy, and the way you be happy is by serving Krishna, by serving people, right? So personally, my goal in life is to contribute more, because they say that this human form of life is like a candle, so it's definitely going to melt away. As life is passing by, the candle is melting, right? So it appears that I just passed out of college, but it's been 20 years I'm out of college already. So the candle is melting, and you don't know what's the size of the candle. When it's going to go off, you have no idea. So as long as it's there, try to help yourself, and if possible, you try to throw some light on others also.
प्रभु जी, क्वालिफिकेशन जो आपका है, आपने मतलब इट्स अराउंड 20 years you said, yeah, out of that this thing, but मतलब उसका टेक्निकल कुछ यूज हुआ आपको मतलब लाइफ में?
इंजीनियरिंग का
इंजीनियरिंग
या
नॉट एज लाइक जस्ट चेंजिंग बल्ब्स.
no, वो तो हमारे इंजीनियरिंग में होता ही नहीं है.
अच्छा,
That's like
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स.
Yeah, but we don't do so much of those things.
Okay.
We are more into the electronics is like almost like a
Circuits
software
and
thing
all,
only.
softwares,
Yeah. Frankly speaking, not much used, but I was good in programming. Some of those programming knowledge has been useful. When I was doing my Gita competition, I had to design softwares and other things. I figured it out. So knowledge per se never gets wasted, and I feel the most important thing of knowledge is it builds your confidence levels, and you are ready to progress. That way, even someone who studies a software engineering line, by the time you finish your 4 years, what you have learned, that software is already outdated.
Correct.
So that's life, and you can't say that, hey, everything has gone down the drain. It's not like that. That's how you grow, right? And if you are always in a mood of learning, then wherever you are, you just grow.
What if you were the CM of Goa for a day? What would you do? Chief Minister of Goa.
I would stop slaughterhouses. I would stop casinos. And I would do something that can actually give people the right kind of moral education, values, especially the children. Especially the children, because sometimes it becomes difficult to change adults, but if you can work on giving the right education to children, it can actually make a big difference. So I think these are the few things I would think about.
There's another statement. I've got a tagline of my program, Casually Yours. I say, life is not a target, it's a gift.
Yeah,
क्या कहना है आपका?
definitely life is a gift. It is a gift from God, and I think that it should be used well, so that we can give this gift back to God. So when you receive a gift, you always say a thank you, and the way to say a thank you is to do something about it, right? So definitely life is a gift, a very precious gift. So we have to use this gift very nicely, very thoughtfully, and then give this gift back to God. In English there's a saying now, good use of the bad bargain. So being in this world is in one sense a bad bargain. So many problems, the body gives so many problems, but if with this body we can do something better for ourselves, I think that's the best use of it.
How did you feel being on my show?
Wonderful.
You must have been like gone through many interviews.
Yeah.
तो ये कैसा था?
This was completely different, definitely.
You liked it?
Definitely.
Great.
So it helped me also to go a little within myself.
Wow.
In life, being honest is very important.
Another question, like when you said you liked the program, how would you, if you were the host of the show, how would you take this up? Well, I want to improve on myself. Maybe I ask this question to all my guests, asking like, if you were the host of the show, how would you do it?
I think you're doing it very well. In fact, I I do a couple of interviews myself. I started something called Agents of Change. I interview mostly devotees who are doing like very phenomenal work in the world. I wanted to do a lot of interviews. I still want to do, but just not finding time to do it. But definitely, I would say I have to learn a lot of things from you.
Thank you so much. Another question. When we are in this world, like I would say, like when I was young or even you were young, we never had this connect, mobile phones, internet, all those things, gadgets. So आज जो इसका यूज़ हो रहा है, आज जो इन गैजेट्स का या फिर टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ हो रहा है, कहाँ तक सही है, कहाँ तक होना चाहिए?
Huh, definitely, everything has a good use also. There's actually there's nothing as bad as such. It all depends on how you use it. Like Srila Prabhupada would say, a knife can be used for good, can be used for bad. You can use to cut vegetables. A surgeon uses a knife to save lives. The same knife in the hands of a wrong person is wrong. So technology is a good servant, but a bad master. So in the sense that if you know how to use it, and you are the boss, then it's good. But if internet and mobile becomes the boss, and you become the das, then that's the end of it, end of the game. So that's why again it boils down to values, and values come from association. So you started this question with, if I was not what I am today, what I would be.
Correct.
I never thought I would be this, honestly speaking. I had never any clue of that I would be a devotee and a monk. I mean, it's not that I thought about this in my initial days. All this transformation has happened because of association. So values is based on association. So whether you can use gadgets well or not, whether you can, utilize your life for the betterment of others, it all depends on association. Whom you associate with, you will become like that. If you associate with people who are doing all sorts of nonsense things, very soon you will become that. I know when from my 12th standard when I entered into engineering, any child, any boy who enters into engineering enters in as a very innocent boy. First year you'll find like very innocent people. Second year, third year, everyone changes. Invariably everyone changes. Drugs, this, that, so many things come. It's all association. So fortunately, through whatever life I have gone through, somehow I have been in right association. God has protected me and kept me safe in the right association, sane kind of thinking. So I think if people can embrace the right association, which the purpose of ISKCON is to give people the kind of association so that they can actually thrive, then dealing with gadgets and dealing with all these things becomes easy. Otherwise, if you are on your own, if your only association is your mind, your life will get completely messed up.
Another simple question. You talk about drugs, liquor, all those things, weird things. They are weird, wild. आप बिना प्याज और लहसुन के कैसे खाना खाते हैं? मतलब this is a very simple question, but
Oh,
still.
no, it's not a simple question. It's a good question. मेरे तो for me, pyaz and lasoon is never an attraction. Probably even in my childhood, I'm from a South Indian family, we used to have sambar, all these things. Probably I never connected to it. And then once you come to spiritual life, and especially in ISKCON, when you have the right kind of food, then you lose these things. Actually, one of our devotees, I used to tell you, I was doing interviews. So one of our devotees is like a international chef. Sattvic food he makes, but he's on an international level. So I was interviewing him. So he was telling me that actually what pyaz and lasoon it does is, it overpowers all the other spices in the food. So when you eat the food, you only taste pyaz and lasoon, onion and garlic. You don't taste all the other minute spices. And each small spice has its own flavor. But we so much numb our senses with onion and garlic, we really don't appreciate other taste. Forget about other taste. Even pure dal, just dal. without much tadka also, if you just have dal very properly in a very conscious state, you'll realize that there is a special taste even in that. So somehow when you get addicted to these things, you miss on the n number of other tastes and experience you can get. And you think that this is the only experience. But when you experience an alternate thing, you will not want to go back to that. So for me, it's like I don't even want to. I don't find any attraction towards it.
Like, people always, I mean, like whoever has come on the show, and then audience, my audience who watch this show, they say like I don't give a chance to answer questions. I like
Go to the
climb
next.
on to the next question.
No, I think
you
you
find
gave
it
me.
like that?
No. I think you gave me sufficient time. There was no issue in that front.
So connected to that, I have another question. When you are a preacher, when you are in public life, and when you are looked upon to a point wherein like every questions are directly directed towards you. So जब कोई बार बार एक ही क्वेश्चन मतलब और एक दे क्लाइम टू अदर क्वेश्चन मतलब ये ऐसे क्यों वैसे नहीं ऐसे नहीं पूछता है ऑब्वियसली इट्स एन तो आपको कैसे लगता है हाउ डू यू लाइक रिएक्ट टू दैट
Yeah. So being a preacher, definitely you get a lot of questions, and you find like n number of people coming to you, and many times it's like a test of your own patience. So I think now sometimes these are opportunities for the preacher also to grow, right? So when you are exposed to a different person, so it helps you also grow. That's the way you grow. Yeah, and I've had like some people who have been really, they ask a
Weird.
lot of questions and a lot of challenging questions. But most of the times these questions or these sessions have been the most interesting sessions for me, because if you have someone who doesn't ask any questions, you feel array understood, not understood.
correct.
And sometimes when you have a person who is asking a very challenging question, that question not only answers him, it will answer so many people who don't have the
wanted
guts
to
to ask.
exactly
Yeah.
who wanted to ask but can't
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
okay
So it brings a lot of answers to them also. So I generally always welcome. Yeah, definitely there are some occasions where you get a little freaked out. Yeah, it honestly speaking, it has happened once or twice. But then I've always made it a point that after the session, I've always gone and asked for forgiveness.
प्रभु जी फाइनली मैं एक क्वेश्चन हर बार किसी को पूछता हूँ और दे ट्राई टू स्किप इट एंड आई डोंट वांट यू टू स्किप दिस क्वेश्चन अगेन आप कोई गाना गा के दिखाओ मेरे को
Hindi?
आप मतलब इट्स योर विश
No, I honestly I don't remember much Hindi songs. I'm not like a person who is a bathroom singer and sings Hindi songs. I can sing some
यस प्लीज
Krishna
हाँ
Bhajan.
जी जरूर
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This Mahamantra has all songs in it.
wow that was wonderful thank you
Prabhupada
so
says
much
Mahamantra, just like you have Kola and Mahakola. So similarly, Mahamantra has everything.
okay
So all
So
the
you have-
songs in this world are there in this one song.
accumulated. Okay.
So we prefer to just sing this one song, make life simple.
थैंक यू सो मच हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी आपने आपका कीमती वक्त लाइक वेरी प्रेशियस टाइम यू गेव मी उसके लिए आपको बहुत बहुत थैंक यू
Thank you, Raj.
हाँ जी
It was my pleasure also to be here.
और ना मतलब देयर इज वन रिवाज ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम यू हैव टू टेल पीपल टू सब्सक्राइब माय चैनल
Yes, please do subscribe to this channel of Mr. Raj Naik. And he's doing a lot of interviews. He told me that he's interviewed some very, very important people. So please do subscribe to this channel and do watch his interviews.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. This is Raj Naik signing out from Casually Yours, and here with me, I won't say His Holiness because I've said not to say it. Achyut Gopal Das प्रभु जी आपने आपका वक्त दिया इसके लिए बहुत बहुत थैंक यू
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Casually Yours, Season 2.